In this last video dealing with circles, we're going to take a look at how we derive pi. So there will be questions on your SOL test where you have circles and you are given measurements and you have to be able to derive pi. So what is pi? That's really the first question. So pi is a ratio. So if we're defining it, pi is a ratio. Remember, a ratio is a fraction, can be expressed as a fraction, where we take the circumference of the circle and we divide it by the diameter. So you need to know those two measurements in order to derive pi. We take the circumference and we divide it by the diameter. And it's really nice in number 1 because they've given us the diameter. But sometimes they don't give you the diameter, they give you the radius, so we're going to do one of each. The first one, they've given us the diameter. They did not give us the circumference, so we actually have to find the circumference, so we'll do that. And this is one that we've already done in a previous video, but we'll do it again. Pi times the diameter. Since our diameter is 5, it's going to be pi times 5. If I go over to our Desmos calculator, just going to clear all this out. Pi times 5 is 15.7. So now I have my circumference. My circumference is 15 7/10. So I'm just going to put this right up top of my fraction. And the diameter was given to us. That's 5. So when I put this in my calculator, I should be able to see that I get pi. And remember, pi is a long number, a long decimal. It never ever ends. It goes on infinitely. The digits never ever end. We call it an irrational number just because it's a decimal. It doesn't terminate and it has no repeating patterns. But if I put this in my calculator, 15.7, and I divide it by 5, which was the diameter, I get 3.14, and that's kind of how we shorten pi. Most people know pi by 3.14 just because we don't memorize the digits in pi. So this is pretty much how we shorten pi, 3.14. It can also be shortened to 22/7. So this fraction is sometimes also used to represent pi. A lot of times when you are finding circumference or area of a circle, sometimes they tell you to use 3.14 in place of pi. I always have you use pi. The function on the calculator just gives you a more exact answer just because we are using more place values, some more digits of the decimal. So let's look at number 2, because number 2, they do not give us the diameter. They give us the radius. So again, the very first thing we have to do is find the circumference. So we're going to go ahead, since they gave us the radius, and we're going to use this top equation. And we will use 2 times pi times 14, which is the radius. So when I put this in my calculator, and I get a new line, 2 times pi times 14, which is the radius. And it looks like I missed pi. I get 87.96, which I think we rounded in our other video to 88. So my circumference is going to be 88. So I'm going to take, just like we did here, and I'm going to divide it by the diameter, except, so this is for number 2. This was number 1. So I have 88, which is my circumference. My radius is 14, so do not put 14 here. In order to get the diameter, we take 14 and we multiply it by 2. So 14 times 2 is going to be 28. If you wanted to check your own calculations, because I know you guys like to check your calculations, But if I put this in my calculator, 14 times 2, which will give me the diameter, because remember the radius is twice the radius times 2 gives us the diameter. You get 28. So now if I check my math and I put in 88 divided by 28, I get 3.1428, but if we round this, we're going to get 3.14 again. So you can see that we get pi. So how do we derive pi? We take the circumference of our circle and we divide it by the diameter. If we don't have the diameter and we have the radius, we have to make sure we multiply that radius by 2 in order to get the diameter.